Hey there, thanks for joining me. If you're looking for all things Raleigh, North Carolina, you have come to the right place. Today we are going to talk about Apex and all the pros and all the cons of living in Apex, one of Raleigh's fastest growing suburbs. If that sounds interesting to you, please definitely hit that subscribe button below. It'll pop up. And if you want to stay on top of any videos that we do drop them on a weekly basis. Hit that notification button and you'll be notified of every video when it comes out. Thanks again for joining us. My name is Mike Wolgin. I'm the owner-operator of the Wolgin Real Estate Group, one of the top-selling real estate teams in the Triangle area. The Triangle area being Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the surrounding suburbs. We do get calls, texts, emails, Zoom requests every day from people just like you looking to learn about our area or even thinking about making a move here. If you are interested in connecting, all of our contact information is below in the comments section. Please feel free to reach out. We will help make your next move to Raleigh the best move, or just answer any of the questions that you might have about any of our videos or about the area in particular. We are going to try and cover all the areas of the Triangle. So let's get to today's video. It is all about Apex, aka the Peak City, aka the peak of good living. It was originally a railroad town. It was the peak stop on the Chatham rail line, hence the name Apex. It was a whole bunch of other potential names, but they settled on Apex, and I think it's a great town name. It was in 2015 named by Money Magazine the best town to live in the country, which I think is a really cool award. I think it speaks to the diversity of the area and all the great things that we offer its residents. It is one of the most desirable suburbs of the Raleigh area and one of the fastest growing towns in the Triangle. The population, speaking of its growth, is about 77,000, but it is growing at a 4% rate. The population is projected to be 120,000 by the year 2030. So again, it's one of Raleigh's fastest growing towns. And you can see that in the everyday, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the cons, just in the everyday growing pains of a place that's growing so rapidly. A little bit about the real estate in the area. The median home price is about $590,000. It is up 8.3% year over year. The average days on market is 12, and the average price per square foot, when you're talking about price per square foot in an area, is 252 square feet. Now, don't take too much into the average price per square foot. It is just a reflection on the greater macro glimpse into the real estate market. So many things go into pricing a home. It's not just the price per square foot. So I don't want to get too caught up on that, but it is nice to know the averages. So let's talk about the pros first. There's a ton of pros. I live in Apex, so obviously I think there's a ton of pros. I've raised my family here, 3 kids. It's a great place to call home. One of the first big pro is its location. It's centrally located. It's adjacent to Cary, which is the next town over. It's adjacent to Holly Springs in the other direction. It is 25 minutes to RTP and RDU, downtown Raleigh, about 35 minutes to Chapel Hill and downtown Durham. So it's a great place if you work in any of those areas. It's a very small commute, but also if you want to experience the nightlife of Durham or Raleigh, it's a short drive away. It's also really close to the largest recreation lake in the area. It's probably about 15 minutes from Jordan Lake, which is down the road in Pittsboro, down 64. And it's about 3.5 hours to the mountains and an hour to the beach. So you can get anywhere and everywhere from Apex in a short distance. Another pro of living in Apex is the cost of living. It's only 2% higher than the national average. Utility prices are only 2% higher than the national average. Transportation expenses are 5% lower than the national average. Groceries are 8% lower than the national average, and healthcare is only 3% higher than the national average. So when you talk about cost of living and moving here from places like New York or Pennsylvania or California or Illinois, or Virginia, are so many of the places that people are flocking to this area to, you're talking about a decreased cost of living compared to those places. So one of the reasons that people are flocking to this area. The next biggest pro, I would say, are the schools. It's home to some of the top rated schools in all of the state, not just the county. They're A grade. They receive A grades across the board, whether you're talking about the elementary schools like Apex Elementary, Apex Friendship Elementary, Scotts Ridge Elementary, Olive Chapel, where my kids went, just to name a few. They're all A grades across the board. Or you're talking about the middle schools like Salem, Apex Friendship, Apex Middle, Lufkin Road, or the high schools, Apex Friendship, Apex High School, Middle Creek, all A-rated schools. So really a great place for families to come and make sure that their kids are getting top-notch public school education. There are also private and Montessori schools available. Where I'm from in the Northeast, in the Philadelphia area, it costs almost $40,000 to send your kid to a private school. Here you can go to a private school for a quarter of that. So there are good private options if that's the route you want to take. But again, some of the best rated public schools in the state, not just in the Raleigh area, but in the state. One interesting fact, which I've touched on before in some of my other earlier videos, is Apex Friendship High School, which is right in the heart of Apex in the Friendship District, is home to the only accredited engineering program in the state that I know of. So if your kids are interested in engineering, it's a great entry to then advance into college, but it's a really cool program. It is by application only, and it's just I think something that separates the schools here in Apex from other areas. Another pro of our area is the park systems. Again, it's a great place to raise a family. So there's tons of park options. There's the American Tobacco Trail, which is 26 miles of trails to walk, bike, and even horseback ride. You can access that all throughout Apex, which is really nice. Pleasant Park, which is a brand new park on Old US 1. It's park, playground, fields. The playground at that park is crazy. I took my son there, and there were so many people there that we decided to come back a different day. But because the structure is so cool and the park is laid out so great and everything is brand new, tons of soccer fields. So I'm sure some of the local soccer clubs are going to rent those fields out, which is great for a soccer dad like me to have an option so close. Hopefully the club that my daughters play at will rent those fields because it's 5 minutes from my house. But it's just a great new park for all residents to enjoy. There's Apex Community Park, which is 160 acres of trails, fishing pond, playground, sport courts. There's Kelly Road Park, which is one of my favorite parks where I took my children growing up. Everything is of wood structure, so it's really cool, fun playground for kids to spend some time at. And then you have the Apex Nature Park at Seymour Athletic Fields off Apex Barbecue Road, which are really great options. Again, they have the beach volleyball court, they have soccer fields, they have a really cool playground, and then they have a whole nature park with trails and ponds. There's even an amphitheater there that they do summer movies at. So just a really, really welcoming and fun place to be from the park standpoint. The next pro is probably my favorite pro about the Apex area is the historic downtown. It's like small town USA vibes. The street, it's really only 2 streets, the downtown, but it is chock full of amazing restaurants, great dining, awesome shopping. So just when you're down here, it feels like small town USA, like Americana personified. It's a really cool vibe. It's not the biggest downtown of the suburbs of Raleigh, but I think it's got the best feeling. And they do awesome community events throughout the year. They do a annual festival called Peak Fest. They do a July 4th celebration. They do a Christmas parade. They do a pig fest. They do something called Witches on Salem Street, which all the ladies come out the night before Halloween dressed up and go to the restaurants, go to the beer gardens. The downtown is just such a huge plus for the area. The last pro that I'll talk about are the diverse housing options. You obviously have new homes, you have resale homes, you have single family homes, townhouses, but you also have historic homes in downtown Apex. There's a historic overlay district. So there's a ton of older homes in the area that are considered to be in the historic district. Some are great and move-in ready. Others are prime for development, where a developer comes in, maybe knocks down one house on an acre lot and builds 2 brand new houses. So there's tons of options as far as new resale and historic homes, single family, townhouses. We even have a condo building right next to Beaver Creek Shopping Center on Highway 55 that has elevators that are great for parents that move here and want to be close to their kids and grandkids. Not a lot of smaller towns have options like that, so it's great. I guess we're not really that much of a small town with projected to be 120,000 people by 2030. Still have those options. And a thing that I love about the Apex area is you have established neighborhoods. Old in North Carolina, other than the historic area, old in Apex is like 1990. So it's not like in northeastern cities where the houses were built in the 1800s. Old is like mid-90s. So in those neighborhoods, you have established trees, you have a little bit bigger lots. So you have those options, but you also have new stuff coming, specifically in the New Hill area, which is just beyond Apex. There's rumors of it being annexed into Apex, but it's still in the Friendship District. So tons of diverse housing options, which I think is a huge pro when we're talking about the Apex area. We'll go right into the cons. With the first con, with a burgeoning area that's growing so rapidly, there's infrastructure demands. The insane growth leads to need for better and bigger roads, traffic lights, and the town is very proactive about these things, but there's constant construction going on, and there's constant construction on the roads, constant adding of traffic lights. So it's just, there's growing pains with the area growing so rapidly. Specifically also in schools, with the population growth, there's stress on the schools. They're constantly building new schools. But I think it's hard to come here and say, okay, well, if you talk to us, hey Mike, we want to only live in the Apex Friendship Elementary School District. Well, it's really hard to buy a house like that because they change the school assignments so often, because there's so many people moving here, so many new neighborhoods popping up, that they have to build new schools and then they rezone. So I would say find an area that you really, really love, knowing that your school assignment might change, but work with a professional who can guide you through that process. But those are probably the two growing pains as far as infrastructure, road, traffic lights, and then also the schools. The second con is it's a small town, so there's not a ton of nightlife. It's a quiet suburb. You can definitely have date nights here, go downtown, go to any of the shopping centers. There's tons of good dining and shopping and places to walk around. But you're not gonna have late nights here. There's not a ton of Also, there's not a ton of late night food delivery, so if you have a hankering for a local place and you want a pizza at 10:30 at night, most of the places close at 9. I'm sure you can still order a Papa John's or a Domino's up until midnight, but if you're looking for something local, most of those places close around 9 o'clock, unless you DoorDash, of course, for later places or more national chains. If you want later nights, just head to Raleigh or Durham. They're only 20 to 35 minutes away. So if you want to experience nightlife on a weekend or Thursday or whatever, go head down to those areas. They're not far. It's again one of the pros is the location. So you're close to those areas if you have a hankering for a later night. The next con is the rising cost of living. It again is one of the fastest growing suburbs in Raleigh, and it's made Apex very, very desirable and honestly much less affordable. We do tax evaluation just to talk about like the growth of how things have progressed as far as house pricing in Apex. Wake County does tax evaluations every 4 years. I know I've spoken about this in previous videos, but I think it's very important. They just did the evaluations earlier this year in 2024. The evaluations from 20 to 2024 for most people that live in Apex have almost doubled their house value. That's pretty significant in 4 years to have doubled the value of your home. So the rise in cost of living, while it compared nationally is a con, is lower, it's rapidly rising. And it's 15% higher than the national average in Apex specifically. So the next con that we'll talk about is, and this is just a reflection of where we are in the marketplace, there's currently just very limited inventory of homes. There's only 109 homes for sale in all of Apex, 76 resales and 32 new builds. That is it, 109 homes for a town of 77,000 people that's growing at a rapid rate of 4% annually. So just really, really limited inventory. Makes it a little more difficult to be a buyer, but also shows the importance of having someone by your side that understands the values, is an excellent negotiator, and can help you through the process. The average 3-bedroom, 3-bath home is about 2,800 square feet, sells for $872,206 at about $297 a square foot. So those numbers make for a very competitive market. And when you're working with a realtor, we will guide you through the process of what multiple offers look like, what high due diligence look like, and what rising prices look like. Due diligence, specifically North Carolina is a due diligence state. I can do a whole video about due diligence, which I will, but it is a unique thing about North Carolina. It is a non-refundable sort of reservation on the home while you do your due diligence, while you get inspections, while you get an appraisal, while you read the HOA covenants, while you get a survey, anything and everything. And if you walk away, that money is non-refundable no matter what. Whether you get an inspection, what the results of that inspection are, it is completely non-refundable. So talking through that part of the process is incredibly important so that you know what you're spending, but also how to make your offers more competitive. To me, it's one of the guiding principles of why you need someone to help guide you through the process. The last con, and it's a pretty small con, is lack of parking downtown. So on Salem Street, there's just not a ton of parking. You can park, there's a church right around the corner on Salem Street, right off the main area, that you can park for larger events. There's side streets you can park for the larger events. There's a little parking lot downtown, but parking can be a challenge, especially when you go to things like Peak Fest or the July 4th celebration. You need to get here early to park and sort of come enjoy the festivities. They are proposing many changes to downtown, making Salem Street pedestrian only, and then building a couple parking structures around the downtown. That would change Apex significantly. It's definitely in the works, and we could do another whole video about that as well. Anyway, those are the pros and cons of living in Apex. As an Apex resident, I hope that the information I gave you was helpful. If you have comments or concerns, please leave them below in the comments section. I will definitely get back to anybody who wants to interact. If you're local and you want to have anything to add, please absolutely chime in, and takes a community to inform people. Again, my name is Mike Wolgin. All of my information is in the comments section below. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Again, I hope it was informative, and we'll see you at the next one.